We are standing about halfway up the climb to East Cemetery Hill, which became the Union fallback position after the first day of battle. The Confederates pushed them all the way from the direction opposite behind me all the way to this position, and as fate would have it, it would be the perfect position. This clump of woods was where the famous Louisiana Tigers brigade camped on the night of the 1st, and on the 2nd they charged this hill, actually took it. Unfortunately, there was supposed to be another Confederate brigade to help them, and that did not work out. They didn't arrive on the field in time and could not help them maintain what they had captured, so they were pushed back off the hill by Union reinforcements and back down into those woods. Statue of Major General Oliver Otis Howard. He would be key, along with Winfield Scott Hancock, who you can see on the other side of the tree, in halting Union troops who were frantically retreating through town and saying, "This is where we make our stand." His men called him Uh-oh, as O.O. Howard. They called him Uh-oh. Howard would claim the gatehouse, which is a little difficult to see through the trees, as his field headquarters on the night of the 1st. The Thorne family, which at the time consisted of Elizabeth, who was 6 months pregnant, and her German immigrant parents who spoke no English, they lived in the gatehouse as caretakers of the cemetery. And her husband, Peter, was off fighting for the Union cause. Elizabeth would end up, along with help from her I believe he was 65 years old, father, in burying at least 85 to 90 dead Union soldiers in the middle of July, not to mention some dead horses as well, in the hot July heat while she was 6 months pregnant. The gatehouse was actually there at the time of the battle and was heavily damaged by artillery and gunfire. There are pictures of it online. If you look them up, you can see rather distant pictures, but you can see the windows broken out. The red brick section to the right was not present at the time of the battle. That's an addition. But the gatehouse provided living quarters for actually 2 families, one on each side of the arch. Elizabeth's parents lived on the right side, or on one side, and Elizabeth and Peter and her, I believe, 5 children, at least 3, might have been 4 or 5, on the other side. And of course she was 6 months pregnant when all this happened, so she had to have been quite some woman to have done that. As you can see, this is an excellent military position. It commands a nice view of the town, pretty much the high point of the battle, or the battlefield. And of course it's very scenic up here as well. Again, that's back to the woods where the famous Louisiana Tigers camped and attacked up that slope to take this hill. They did officially actually take it, but they could not hold it. In the distance, straight ahead, behind the trees, of course there's always a tree in the way, that is Culp's Hill, or at least the beginnings of it. You go back to the right slightly, the very point of the fishhook line starts back in Culp's Hill, comes up, and once you get to Culp's Hill, bends, if you think of the bend in a fishhook, bends over towards Cemetery Hill, and then you go pretty much straight in that direction, goes all the way down to the round tops and the eye of the hook. So that was pretty much the Union battle line. This would be an extremely difficult position to take and keep. And as you can see, this is not an easy slope to come up to try to attack this hill. It's quite steep. In fact, it is even steeper as you get over here towards the woods. But those Louisiana fighting men were known to be rough and tough, and they definitely were. My understanding is many were released from prisons and jails in order to fight for the Confederacy. In exchange for their release, they were able to fight, so they were already rough and tumble characters, many of them, and they had very little to lose.